It is so important to be aware of yourself and what you are doing and what you are thinking, because then nothing has control over you. Nothing has power over you. What's up, y'all? If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tierica, and I like to post videos about the law of assumption, manifestation, and mindset shifting, sharing my own personal beliefs and experiences with the intention that you can take something from what I talk about and apply it to your life to create the reality of your dreams. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So I want to talk about how to transform opposing thoughts, like how to become aware of them and to basically flip them, because that is a very important factor, I feel like, whenever it comes to conscious manifestation. So let's talk about it. I really believe that the biggest thing with this is becoming more self-aware. You have to become aware of yourself to understand what you're doing, what you're thinking, and where you could be limiting yourself. So, how do you become more self-aware? I personally believe that this is a practice that you have to do. If you get it instantly or if you get it right off the bat, perfect. But if you don't, it's okay. Just practice with yourself. And what you are going to want to do is you are going to want to become more conscious of the thoughts that you're thinking. So we have a tendency to fall into unconscious thinking when we're doing habitual tasks, okay? When you are doing things that don't require mental focus, it doesn't require you to pay attention. That's usually when your thoughts just do what they want to do. It could happen while you're watching a movie. It could happen while you're riding in the car. Hell, it could happen while you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody if it's boring. If you're in school, the professor could be talking or the teacher could be talking and you're zoned out. Your thoughts are doing whatever it wants to do. The whole goal behind identifying and flipping opposing thoughts is realizing when you are in these states of unconscious thinking. So for me personally, I don't really end up in a lot of scenarios anymore where I do unconscious thinking. And if I do, I catch myself because I don't know if it's because I am just highly detailed or just very in tune or super focused, but if I have an opposing thought, which again is pretty rare, but sometimes things can try to creep through the cracks and I recognize it and I'm just like, no, because that's not my reality. And then I persist in immediately thinking as the version of me who has what they want. So the best way that I can say for you all to do is to notice your actions. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Pay attention to what you're speaking. Just try to do it for like 24 hours. And I'm not saying that you're going to be up for 24 hours, but pay attention to what you are persisting in throughout your day, especially if it's in relation to your manifestation or not. Pay attention to what you are persisting in throughout your day, the conversations that you're having with people, the things that just naturally slide out of your mouth. For an example, I used to be extremely horrible about waking up on time. And when I was live streaming, I would sit on my lives every single day and say, y'all, I never wake up on time. I always oversleep my alarms. I always wake up for my last alarm. I wake up at the last minute. I oversleep. Like, these were things that I was saying. And I know about conscious manifestation at this point, but I'm persisting in this, right? And sure enough, every time I'm setting an alarm, I am waking up at the last one, or I'm oversleeping, and I overslept clients. That's how bad it was. And then it dawned on me one day. I became self-aware of the fact that I have been limiting myself. I have been creating this experience for myself. Just a simple, I was not using a technique. I was not setting aside time to affirm that I oversleep my alarm clock. I was not doing any of that. I was persisting, though, as the person who oversleeps their alarm. I am on a live stream sharing with people how I oversleep an alarm. I am embodying the version of me that oversleeps my alarms. So to flip that, when I became aware that I was limiting myself, and y'all, it was like an aha moment. I was sitting there and I was just like, it's my fault. Like, I've been doing this to myself this entire time. So once I became aware of it, then I stopped saying that. I started telling myself, and I told the live stream, I said, y'all, I'm finna be catching myself because I've realized that I've been manifesting this for myself. So from that point on, once I realized it, I started to practice on only thinking as the version of me who always wakes up on time. And that's all I was telling myself. Oh, I always wake up on time. I always wake up on time. I always wake up on time. And I was not setting aside time to do this. I only did it when I thought about it, or when I would catch myself still naturally letting it slip out of my mouth. Because remember, things that you are saying right now is so natural to you, they just float out of your mouth. If somebody asks you what your name is, where do you live, what color are your eyes, what kind of car do you drive, you're going to explain that, and it's just going to come out so naturally because that's what's natural to you. So to experience a different reality, to manifest your desire, you must make what it is that you're desiring natural to you instead of what is in front of you right now. So I knew that I had to do that. And anytime I thought about it, like I said, I would just tell myself, I always wake up on time. I always wake up on time. And it didn't even take long. Like within a week, I want to say, I'm waking up well before my alarms go off. And sometimes I was waking up a little too early for my liking because personal preference, I am not a morning person. I would much rather be up all night long, like all night. But I started waking up on time, and then I eliminated the issue of I oversleep my alarms. It's that simple. Remember, Monday's video was about overcomplicating and to stop overcomplicating things. Stop overcomplicating it, whatever it is. So when you are having opposing thoughts, it's just a practice to become aware that you are having these thoughts. Now, there's so many different ways you can go about it. You can either become aware that you are having these thoughts and flip them, like how I did in the example that I just gave you. And you may not recognize it the first couple of times, but it's going to dawn on you. Trust that it's going to dawn on you at some point. Like, I've been limiting myself this whole time. Like, this is the reason why I have been limiting myself. Or you can just go ahead and affirm you never have opposing thoughts. Only your positive thoughts manifest. You never have negative thoughts. You have total control. So it's whatever you want to do. If you want to do the practice of learning to become self-aware, then it's just you paying attention to the details about yourself. When you are in the most relaxed state, when you are doing activities and things throughout your day that don't require a lot of mental focus, pay attention to what you are thinking to yourself. Pay attention to how you are speaking to yourself. And that's how you will be able to flip these thoughts and eliminate the issue of holding your manifestation in limbo because you're affirming for it, but unconsciously you're still affirming against it without knowing that you're doing it, because you're sitting here in unconscious thoughts that are negative of how you don't have your desire, or how things don't work out for you, or just how shitty your circumstances may be right now. And that's just your unconscious thinking, but that unconscious thinking still has influence over your reality. So becoming self-aware is so important. It is so important to be aware of yourself and what you are doing and what you are thinking, because then nothing has control over you. Nothing has power over you. Your own thoughts and beliefs don't have power over you no more, because you understand that you are in the driver's side of the vehicle, and you get to take this life, this life wherever you want to. And you take this life wherever you want to by the thoughts that you persist in. The thoughts that you persist in take you to the reality that you want to experience, all right? Look at your affirmations, your thoughts as a car, your dream car at that, okay? And by you persisting in these thoughts, that is the equivalent to you driving the car to the reality that you desire to experience. And you could be taking a jet there, you could be taking an airplane there, you could be taking the train there, okay? It doesn't matter how fast you get there. If you want to get there faster, you already know what you need to do. Affirm that your manifestations come super fast, they come instantly, they come within a day. Just get into the habit of thinking as this person. But just to stay on the topic of opposing thoughts, that's really all it is. It's nothing hard. It's nothing that you have to stress yourself out about. Just become aware. And when you become aware, you can write them down in your notes, okay? You can write it down in a journal so that way you can physically see the way that you have been wavering or the way that you have been thinking against yourself. And that way you can flip that thought. You can write out your new thought and you have that to refer back to. But it's not a hard thing, y'all. It's really just becoming more self-aware. You are more self-aware of yourself, of what you're doing, of how you're moving through your life. And the more you honestly become aware of just being the person that you want to be, you're not going to have to worry about opposing thoughts, because the more you focus on being the version of you who has what they want, the more that you are thinking thoughts and really immersing yourself into that reality. Whether you're thinking it, whether you're feeling it, whether you're doing both, it doesn't matter. The thoughts is the most important part, because you can feel it all day long, but if your thoughts are still opposite, you can scratch it. So go ahead and persist as the person. Immerse yourself in that version. And because that is where your primary focus is at, those opposing thoughts are not going to be able to exist. They're not going to be able to survive because you're not giving them the food, the attention, the love that they need to stay in your reality and in your mind. Because the new version of you that has what they want doesn't even have opposing thoughts like that, because what they want is in front of them. So the more you focus on that, the more you're focusing on that, all right? You don't have to worry about these opposing thoughts. You persist in your thought, in your mind, and those thoughts just go away. They just disappear. You literally, like I was there once. I woke up one day and it was just like, it just hit me. I was like, I don't even have these negative thoughts no more. Like, I was battling them at one point in time. I was fighting. And now I don't, they're nowhere to be found. Like, they're nowhere. They're non-existent. So it's very, very simple. Just be aware of yourself. Focus more so on the version of you. Focus that you want to be. Focus on the way that you will be thinking in that reality with that desire. Focus on that and that only. And the rest of it just fades away. And if you do feel like you need to work on yourself, then just become aware in the moments where you are limiting yourself. Become aware in the moments where you are speaking against your desire. So that way you can flip it and understand how you need to persist, how you need to go ahead and start having these inner conversations to cancel out those negative thoughts. Because one opposing thought isn't going to ruin your manifestation. All right. One wavering session isn't going to mess up your manifestation, all right? Because if that was the case, as much as you think negatively and then somebody tells you you need to think more positive and you do it for a day and then you're like, nothing's changed, and then you go back to thinking negative because there wasn't enough, I don't even know how to put it. There wasn't enough energy behind the positive thought to hold weight in your reality because you're so used to thinking negatively. So it's the same. If you're so used to thinking positively and your positive thoughts outweigh the opposing thoughts, then that one little opposing thought it holds no weight in your reality. It's just a thought that you had that's coming from your old state, the old version of you. It's still trying to survive. It's trying to maintain and thrive, but you're not going to allow it to by taking your focus off of it and shifting your focus where you want to be. That's really all you got to do, y'all. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down for me below. If you do need guidance or assistance with your manifestations, I do offer email coaching, and I just added phone call and video coaching as well. The link for both is in the description below. And if you watch this video until the end, I appreciate you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.